Good morning and welcome back to Dr. Logic Awkwardly Does Logic with the cutest assistant ever. Given the previous videos, you might be forgiven for thinking that variables, substitution, whether they're bound, whether they're free, that this is a very complex and opaque matter. That's just a result of being very rigorous and precise in our definitions. The basic idea that underlines this is actually really straightforward. So in this video, I'm just going to give this kind of high-level overview, summing up all of the important things that we've talked about in the rigorous definitions. So, basically, suppose that you have some formula like exists x for all y, r x y z, and for all z exists y, r x, z, y, something like this. The first thing to do is to identify which variables occur bound and which occur free. So a free variable is something that does not occur in the scope of a quantifier that matches it. Actually, let's do the bound ones first because that's easy. So this quantifier binds this variable. This quantifier binds this one, but then the scope of these quantifiers ends before we reach the conjunction. And then we've got new quantifiers over here. This one binds this variable. This one binds this variable, which means that this one occurs free and this one occurs free. So what you can see, I picked this example because it shows that you can have one and the same variable, sometimes occurring bound and sometimes occurring free. So that's the bound-free distinction. The next thing is how to do substitution. So let me actually, we'll just have to remember which ones were bound and which were free. But suppose that I want to take this formula and substitute into it, doesn't show up. There we go. I'm going to substitute constant a in for x. So I need to find all of the free occurrences for x. So remember, this one was bound, but this one was free. And then literally all you do is you erase the free occurrences and replace them with the thing you're substituting in. That's it. Now, there was the one further question that I gave you, or one further kind of issue, which is whether or not a substitution instance is allowed. Now, the one that I just did here, substituting a in for x, is allowed. It's allowed because a is a constant. It's not going to make any difference. But now, let's say something like substitute y in for z. So y is not a constant, it's another variable. Now we do the same thing. We find all the free occurrences of z. So we had one right there, and then we replace it with y. This is not allowed simply because all of a sudden this, the variable that had been here had occurred freely, but now all of a sudden it's captured by this quantifier and it becomes bound. So that is not a legitimate substitution instance. And that's it. Everything you need to know. So if the variable is under the scope of a matching quantifier, that occurrence is bound. If it's not, it is free. If you're doing a substitution instance, you look at all of the free occurrences of the variable, scribble them out, and put in what you're substituting in instead, and then check to make sure that no variable that was free before has become bound in the result. If none has, it's an allowed substitution. If something has become bound, then it's not allowed. That's it. So I hope this helps give you a sense of the kind of big picture of what we've been doing in the last couple of videos. Take care. See you soon. Cheers.